Hi everyone, thanks for checking out my video of the Oppo Sonica DAC. Not too long after I did the unboxing video, I got her hooked up in quite a hurry there. I was pretty excited as to some of the features there that were in it, but I was from the Oppo website. I was still kind of unclear on what a few things were. I do have a BDB 105, and it has that the audiophile grade DAC in it as well, and it had a lot of features in it that I really enjoyed. My hope was that this would be a really good standalone DAC, although with the more new improved ESS Saber DAC. One of the features that I was really curious about and was still unclear on the website whether or not it had was if it had title support. On the website, it did talk about streaming audio and that kind of thing, but it made no real mention of title. Well, lo and behold, as luck would have it, and I was really glad to see this, is that it does indeed support title. So this is a little snapshot of what the app looks like, and it's very similar to the one that comes with the BDP 105, and you can see right there it has Spotify title support along with the other controls for the various drives, which I'll get into as well. So I was really glad about that. I got hooked on Tidal. I really like Tidal as a streaming service. For those of you that don't know what Tidal is, it is an online music service that you pay for different grades of service. There's the normal, but there's also the hi-fi service. I pay roughly about maybe I think it's like $20 a month. It pretty much has almost all the music that I've ever wanted. I have yet to find music that it didn't have that I wanted. So, but the hi-fi is actually it's all FLAC, so it's a CD quality at the very least, plus access to an unlimited library. So that's a really great convenience. So yeah, getting back to the Oppo DAC, so it does have a title along with other features. But anyway, let's get started here. So you can see here from the front panel, it does have on the left a source button and volume control. So the other thing that I was really curious about was how the volume control was implemented. I know I did try to do the volume control on the Oppo, and it was kind of tinny, and it kind of changed its kind of personality as you went up and down on volume, more like a digital volume control as opposed to a real analog volume control. So my hope was that this would, independent of how they implemented it, would actually behave like an analog volume control. So that was another thing that I was kind of excited to kind of test out. So getting started here, the source button actually allows you to kind of choose between the sources. And if you remember the snapshot of the back of the unit, it does have several different inputs. So it does have USB input, so you can hook it up to your laptop or computer for a source. It has an optical input as well as coax, and then it also has left and right analog in. Now, with this menu here, you simply kind of this button here, this source knob acts as kind of the go or enter button and so on. So that was one thing that took me a few seconds to figure out, but again, it's just by playing around with it, I'm sure it would have popped out to most of you anyway. So going through the menu here, again, I saw the first screen there where you select between the source, but if you push it, it'll give you the setup, the kind of the setup menu and choices here. So this one is particularly interesting here, this first page, because it gives you the choice of variable volume and different volume controls. And really, one of the most interesting things is the bypass. You can choose to bypass all the inputs so that the volume control is no longer in line, and you could use this strictly as a source. So if you're going into a preamp, the second choice there, the first choice, the top choice is variable volume, where the volume control is actually enabled. So this could act as sort of like a preamp. But I think the most kind of interesting one is the bypass aux input with the middle choice. So the auxiliary input is the left-right analog in, and what's interesting about that, at least to me, is that a lot of us are kind of implementing kind of dual-use home theater systems. So, but we also like really good two-channel audio. So if you're like me, you kind of share your room with both the theater and for listening. So what's interesting about that particular one where you're bypassing just the aux input is that you can have one of the pre-outs from your home theater receiver, if it does have it, kind of passed into here, and you could use the volume control on the receiver when you're watching movies. And so you could take advantage of your good speakers, your good amp on the 2-channel, and then still have the home theater experience. And then you're not kind of plugging and unplugging or switching A/B to go between the two different setups. So that was kind of interesting to me. And again, it's a really good convenience for those of you that kind of have dual use systems. So moving on through the rest of the menu here. Again, you get the dimmer controls. It does have Bluetooth, so that's one of the features they make very clear on the website. So you can pair this with a Bluetooth music device, audio device, and then of course Wi-Fi. Now Wi-Fi is really important because that's how you run the Sonica app, and that's where a lot of the control is, and where you get a lot of the features like Tidal, for instance. So that's about it for the menu going through here. The bypass feature is kind of the most important. Now, without giving you an audio clip here, I do have to say that I'm pretty happy with this performance of this particular device. For the price that you pay for the size of the unit, I mean, like in the unboxing video, I kind of commented how heavy the unit is, and it is that heavy. And if you look at the pictures on the Oppo website, it does show you kind of the internals, and the reason why is that it has a very good power supply in it, which is typical of most audiophile grade DACs. But again, for those of you that are in the audiophile hobby, you know how much you could pay for a DAC, and I think the price point of the Oppo at around $800 is very good for what you get. Again, you get the latest ESS Saber DAC, the 9038, and the sound quality I think is absolutely really excellent. Just as an aside here, maybe I'll zoom out and see if I can get it in the shot. Down below, I have a Name NDS272, which is, in my opinion, one of the best streamers out there, and it also has Tidal. And what I've been doing for the past couple of days is actually A/Bing it, where I go between one and the other to really truly compare. Now, admittedly, the Name is far more refined. It's a lot more smoother a DAC. The audio quality is that much better, but at that price point, it better well be. So again, the Oppo DAC is a really good unit for what it is. If anything, it punches well above its weight class. I think it's a great bang for the buck, especially since you can manage all these sources. So I talked about Tidal being one, but another one that I like to use is you can see here that in the front it has a USB host port, but also on the back there's a USB host port. What I like to do is hook up a little hard drive. I have a terabit hard drive here that kind of houses stuff that I download from HD tracks and some various bit perfect rips. I use an exact audio copy to often rip my CDs. So it's a real nice convenience to have that to switch between the sources. When you use the Sonica app, you could actually, it doesn't distinguish between sources, so you could create playlists from two different sources. And so far I've only played with the Tidal and the music on my hard drive, but if you're just limited to that, it's really kind of a great convenience. So I'll probably put some sound clips. I'm not sure how it's going to translate well through the camera microphone, but it'll give you a sense of the characteristics of the device in a separate clip, just because the setup for the camera is going to be a little bit different here. But oh yeah, one thing I didn't comment about was the volume control, and if I was curious about it and what the quality of it is. I do have to say that after playing with it, after really kind of putting it through its paces and doing some critical listening, this volume control, independent of how it's implemented, whether it be through digitally or a true analog in the back, I really don't know how it's implemented, but again, it's got really great control. It's very linear. I think the feel of it is very good. It doesn't spin too fast. It doesn't spin too slow. So, but you also get volume control in the Sonica DAC app as well. So that's a really great convenience too. And another thing I should comment too is that the Wi-Fi radio in here is killer. I have it set up in a room that oftentimes I don't get strong Wi-Fi signal, but the sensitivity in this radio is excellent, I think, and works really well. So that's a quick overview. Maybe it wasn't so quick. It's kind of a long video, but hopefully this was helpful. Again, I don't know. I haven't seen any other kind of Sonica DAC videos online yet, so hopefully this helps you make your decision. I highly recommend it. I kind of dig it, but admittedly, I'm a little biased. I do like the Oppo products, and in terms of absolute value in the DAC market, this one will be tough to beat. Admittedly. So feel free to post any comments, any questions, that kind of thing, and look out for my sound clip video. I'll try and get some of those built up, and hopefully my choice in music won't be too, will be good enough to at least show the capabilities of the DAC.